Yeah, so thank you very much, Kashmir Freedom Movement, for organizing this seminar, especially Yasser and Asan, and you invited me to present the ideological evolution of Muhammad Maqbool. Yeah, Maqbool was born on 18th of February 1938, and he was executed in Tihar prison, Delhi, on 11th of February 1984. And he was a Kashmiri revolutionary who, from 1946 to 1984, he was involved continuously in different political events and struggle, including national liberation struggle, and he spent about 10 years in the Indian prison where he was executed. His first political activity was in the 1946 when he was 8 years old. And at that time Kashmir was ruled by monarchic system. Maharaja Hari Singh was the ruler, and the feudal lords had power over peasants in different villages, and in Maqbool's village, Teregam, after every season, the landlord, which was called Chaudhary or Jagirdar, he used to send his manager, which was called Kardar, to take share from the peasants of the crops. So he, at that in that year, the rain was obviously not, there was not much rain due to lack of rain. The crops were not, I always pronounce it, mix it, and was not enough. So people didn't have much to give to the landlord or Jagirdar. But Kardar was saying that I am told by my boss, so you have to pay the normal share. But people were obviously pleading that, look, we don't have enough, we can't do it. But then Kardar advised them that if you want a relief, then you have to convince the landlord who is there, and if he's gone, then I won't be able to do anything. So then somebody in the village, village elders, they gathered the children and asked them to lay in front of Jagirdar's car. So they did that. Maqbool was one of them. And then they were given relief. That, okay, this year we won't take the normal shape. Is the second political activity, or which I don't know, obviously very unlikely that he was aware of the caste system or why things were the way they were. But his practice tells us that he was very conscious from a very young age, because when he was in primary school, there was a award ceremony in his school, and it was kind of tradition that rich parents will sit on luxury seats on one side, and the poor parents will sit on the other side, on normal chairs. So he refused to receive his award, because he was also one of the achievers who would, pupils who were going to be given awards. So he refused. He said, if I will take this award only if, you segregation. So that after that day, in that school, this segregation was kind of abolished or ended. So basically, the foundations of his ideology were rooted in that kind of social structure. And when he moved to college in 1956, around that time, now the government system was changed, through a popular struggle. The monarchy was abolished, and now there was a democratically elected government of national conference, but Kashmir was divided. There was some part of Kashmir which went under Pakistani occupation, and some part was under Indian occupation. So wider context was occupation, but within that, Maqbool got involved with the politics of plebiscite. The plebiscite front was formed in 1955 after the removal of first Prime Minister of Indian side of Kashmir by the Nehru government, and he was arrested, and there was a movement for his release, and then there was also the plebiscite front was formed to demand plebiscite, which was promised by United Nations in 1947. So during his college days, he became a very very impressive speaker. And then when the raids were happening to arrest activists, he went underground, and after his graduation exams, he did political science and economics, I think, and he went underground. So during that time, he crossed the division line from Indian side to the Pakistani side. And here he was arrested and interrogated as well. But when he came here, he was very much for the accession of Kashmir with Pakistan. And his ideological shade was Islamic, very much Islamic. So within the Indian context, occupation context. But here, when he crossed over in 1958, and he went to Peshawar. He got admission in Urdu literature there for his post-graduation, and there he also started working with a newspaper called Jam as news editor. And in the university and in the Peshawar where he was living, there were various progressive activists were around, including Ahmed Faraz, the very famous Urdu poet, and Tahan, and there were some other who were known for their progressive activism. So there it seems that his understanding of things, particularly about the role of Pakistani establishment, was also evolved. So now he became kind of a nationalist in the sense that now he was thinking the whole state is occupied. It's not just the Indian side. So that is the time when there were two political organizations existed in the Pakistani side of Kashmir, small ones. One was the Jammu Kashmir Awami Party, and the other was Kashmir Independence Committee. The committee was in Pakistan, and the Awami Party was in Azad Kashmir. So they joined hands in 1965 and formed plebiscite front on this side as well. And Maqbool became his publicity secretary. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. So they formed a plebiscite front in 1965. and he was elected as publicity secretary, whereas the head of Awami Conference, Abdul Khalik Ansari, was elected head, and head of Kashmiri Independence Committee, Amanullah Khan, was elected as general secretary. But Maqbool was, it showed from his practice afterwards, what he did, that he was kind of not convinced that this peaceful struggle is going to give us plebiscite. He said we have to do something which the world should know that Kashmiris are not happy with India and Pakistan and they want self-determination. So, and it was a time when undesired struggle was also kind of well known in the world, and idea of national liberation was used by different occupied states and countries to challenge the occupation, and armed struggle was part of that. So they believed that the United Nations gives this right to all the occupied people to use any means possible for their freedom. So they presented in the plebiscite front that we should have armed labor, but they were defeated. The majority of people voted against that. But they went ahead, Maqbool and Amanullah Khan, and they formed Jammu Kashmir National Liberation Front on 13th of August 1966. And 13th of August is a significant date because it is believed that the resolution in United Nations which was passed on that date gives the unlimited self-determination to Kashmiris, whereas other resolutions give them choice between India and Pakistan. So that was the kind of initiation of national liberation struggle in Kashmir. And Maqbool went to Indian side, crossed over from Pakistani side to organize underground cells there. So after about a couple of months, he was spotted, and a raid was carried out by Indian intelligence services, and there was a clash between Maqbool and his, I think, three of his comrades, and one of his comrades was killed, and one of the Indian intelligence officer was also killed. They were arrested. They were put in. They were given a death sentence. Maqbool was given death sentence, and Fuzil was actually life sentence, and put into Srinagar prison. But after 2 months, they dig a tunnel and they escaped the prison and came back to the Pakistani side. And here, again, obviously, they were interrogated, but there were now big public protests by National Student Federation and plebiscite front people. And then Maqbool was released and his comrade. So after that, actually, he became the main leader of the nationalist politics, national struggle, national liberation concept was kind of popularized among the younger people, and then he was made president of plebiscite front. And so now he was kind of expressing his political views in public gatherings, and he made it clear that by national liberation we don't mean just freedom of our country from our goal is not just to end the occupation of India and Pakistan, but to liberate our people from all other chains like deprivation and exploitation and tribal nepotism and all that. And in 1971, they did another action which made Kashmiri struggle known world over. And when they hijacked an Indian plane, Ganga, and brought the plane to Lahore, It was hijacked by two cousins, Ashraf Karachi and Ashim Karachi. Maqbool was kind of their mastermind. And initially, they didn't harm any person, any passenger, but they sent them back. And the plan was then, I think, set ablaze by some Pakistani police or something. And Maqbool and his comrades initially were kind of received by massive crowds for what they've done. But then after about 3 months, when India took Pakistan to some international forum, that Pakistan was behind this, and Pakistan they are kind of welcoming this action. So then Pakistani arrested all these people, and their case was, I think, going on for a couple of years. And at the end, Ashim was given sentence for 9 years, and others were kind of released that they have done nothing wrong. So, so this was the kind of another action which made him further popular among young people. And but after the Ganga case, the NLF was dismantled, and Plebiscite Front was also weakened. So they moved from, some people were moved to Britain, and they formed Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front here, with obviously not, no armed kind of wing or anything, just political struggle. But Maqbool didn't come to Britain. He was offered but he said, no, I want to leave Kashmir. So he went back to Indian side of Kashmir. And there he was arrested again and was put in the hard prison. Yeah. And in 1976, and he was executed on 11th February 1984. Now, his ideology, throughout his life, he never used any labels, whether he was nationalist or socialist or Islamist or whatever, or liberal. He never used those labels. But his practice was that he was really towards the left. His practice. And in the Pakistani court, he said, my only crime is that I have rebelled against occupation, exploitation, obscurantism, and nepotism. That is where he kind of started to explain his ideology. And then obviously, his last interview that was done by Kum Chadha. She's a very senior journalist. She was a very senior journalist at that time. And she came to the Hard Prison and interviewed him. And in that interview, we can see that he told what he stood for. He kind of, that is, I think, very good indication to understand his ideology at that time, at the end of his life, you can say, just before the end of his life. So when he was asked how religious you are, so he said, I'm not really that religious a person, but religion forms my foundation of my personality and my understanding of things. So he said, personally, I'm a Muslim according to my own understanding of the faith. Deen, as Quran calls it. My study of Islam, although very meager, has certainly played an important role in the development of my personality. And then he was asked, what do you believe in? And he said, equality of human beings to be fortified by what ought to be termed as social justice constitute my fundamental social belief. All else in this connection follows from this basic source. Society as such means a lot to me. Without it, I think I would cease to be even my own self. And this was what is your political belief? I think you Rehman read it right here. Is it freedom of thought, and in pursuit thereof the right to freedom of expression, action and association for all humans constitute by basic political faith. I believe a democratic order of society can best guarantee the fulfillment and realization of this concept. The term political ideology has come to be synonymous with one's inclination to what is termed as right or left. I'm afraid that is not the case with me. My political ideology consists of my faith in the right of all peoples to make and shape their present and future in accordance with their freely expressed wishes and aspirations through the instruments and institutions enacted and established by them without any external compulsion, coercion or interference. So that is what actually stood for, and that is what he struggled for. So his legacy is that after about 41 years, without any support from any government, actually government of India and Pakistan discouraged that people of Kashmir on both sides, particularly in Kashmir Valley, Azad Kashmir, some in Pakistan, and also in UK, Europe, USA, people celebrate, commemorate this day with different activities, and every year the kind of his message is going to more and more people. So that is his legacy. So in conclusion, I believe that the ideology of Maqbool was shaped by and reflects our social context in the state of Jammu and Kashmir and objective conditions. Of course, we must remember and commemorate the sacrifices Maqbool made for liberation, but it is his vision, ideology and struggle that must be understood and developed further. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shamsra.